Hey there, so today is a garden cleanup day. We are going to do some chores. This is, winter gardening. Not a whole lot to do, but I do have to clean up all the stuff that died with our big winter, frost that we got over the Christmas weekend. I got to clean all that stuff out. I'm going to mulch some containers, and I am going to take a look at my elderberry bush. I think I need to trim that back for the winter. So, things like butterfly bushes, you want to wait till early spring, but elderberries are one of the things that you want to trim back in fall or like early winter. So I think this counts as early winter. I think this is close enough for that. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim it back. Last year I didn't really trim it because I wanted it to get a bit bigger, but this year I'm hoping for a little bit smaller size. So I'm going to trim it back pretty hard, probably just to like a foot or so above the ground. Let me show you what we're dealing with. So this is a lemony lace elderberry. It's very, very pretty, especially in the early spring. It's one of the most beautiful things in my garden. But then towards the end of the season, it gets kind of funky looking. It's just, yeah, it looks kind of, I don't know, spindly. And I want to take it down so it's more of a bush habit than this really tall shrub that we've got going on right now. It does grow a pretty good amount each season, but I think I'm going to take it back just maybe to like here. I'll trim right above these leaf nodes. You can see there's the next year's growth right there. And there is a dead branch, so I'm going to take out the dead branch, and then I'll probably trim it back to here, and hopefully it'll branch out and make more of like a nice fluffy kind of lemon colored bush over in this corner. It's called a lemony lace elderberry because it does get that beautiful lemon color, and I'm sure you've seen these all over. They're a pretty common plant. In my garden, they just, I don't know, they just end up getting, as I said, kind of like spindly, and they kind of lose their vigor toward the end of the season. I don't know if it's the heat or the humidity or what it is exactly about our conditions. I have seen them and loved them in so many other people's garden, but I don't know if I was designing a garden again, I don't know that I would put one in, because even though they're beautiful in the spring and they're just so gorgeous, that's lovely, but yeah, by the end of the season they look kind of terrible. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should be fertilizing them or doing something different, but with the way things are going right now, yeah, it's not the prettiest plant in my garden, but we'll see. We'll see if maybe keeping it a little smaller promotes some new growth. Maybe it's just that I haven't been trimming it and I should trim it more. Sometimes, some plants benefit from that. So we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and just hack it back, and we'll see what happens as it sprouts again in the spring. So I just got the idea as I was pruning back that elderberry and looking at all of those. I'm just opening up my pop-up bag here and looking at all of the sprouts on those branches. I wonder if I could force them. It might be really pretty to have like, some branches. So I'm gonna cut them down a little bit smaller because I don't have anything quite big enough, but I was just thinking I needed to like come up with some kind of a winter, some winter displays or containers or whatever. The counters and everything are looking so bare after the holiday season. I wonder if these will branch out, and the leaves will kind of come out if I put it in a container. They're really pretty. I mean, it's got some interesting shapes in these branches. So I'll keep you posted on that too. Maybe you can force an elderberry. I don't know, but we're gonna try it. Okay, we'll take those inside when we're done. And that'll be like just, you know, pretty little sticks. I've got to watch out. There's the bird feeder up above, and all the birds are dropping their seeds and things. If I'm right underneath it, I don't really want to get pooped on by the birds today. They do not care about me being out in the garden. We have become friends, me and my little garden birds. And so, yeah, it's a little dangerous, so I gotta kind of watch out. Okay, now I'm gonna clean out the Swiss chard. There were some leaves that were dead and stuff in that bed. Here's the elderberry all pruned up. Just looks like a few little sticks now, but I think it'll be just fine. And then down here, I just got to clean up around that Swiss chard and the carrots. I am so thrilled with how well these carrots did. And the Swiss chard is looking okay. It's just some of these big outer leaves got kind of damaged. So I'm gonna clean all of that out. There you go. Now you can see it's just these outer leaves that really got damaged. Yeah, they just like turned into mush. And while I'm in here, I might as well remove any of these leaves. I'm just kind of clean that up. Although there are benefits to leaving leaves in the garden, I really deal with a lot of pest issues, so I'm trying to be more proactive at actually removing leaves and things like this that are gonna harbor over insects. I don't know, these are my little baby green onions. I don't know if they made it. Can't quite tell yet if they're gonna come back. Let me cut off all this. I'm kind of debating whether it's just going to be easier for me to just restart this inside. I might just take it out. It's just going to be easier. I will start more when I start my spring seedlings. Ooh, I want to keep the green onions, so I want to see if they can make it. All these leaves out. Try to keep the slugs and snails and things out of the beds. Alright, so that bed is basically just down to carrots, which is okay. It's gonna, you know, I've got so many plans of good things to grow in here. Next year, the carrots I'll come back and thin out. They definitely are a little thick, but they are doing just fine, not bothered by the cold. Oops, I accidentally pulled this one out when I was weeding, but look at that. I don't know if it's gonna grow if I stick it back in, but there we go. Yeah, really beautiful. I forget what kind. I think these are the Nance. I believe that's the variety. Nance carrots. So, all right, on to the next bed. This is just such a hard process, like removing all these things that, you know, you worked hard on growing all season. I just honestly thought I had a little bit longer with them. Usually maybe this would happen and they would die in, I don't know, maybe like January, February. I mean, I know it's, you know, it's January now, but it's just, usually this doesn't happen in December. We'll see. These violas look okay, this kale looks okay, but like all the lettuce in these containers, all of this just completely gone. So, oh well, it's part of gardening, you know, weather is unpredictable and this tends to happen, and that's okay. At least that's what, you know, you just have to move on and do the next thing. So I'm just gonna wait. There'll be more things to plant in the spring and there'll be more space to plant it in because we've got room now. At least these are the garlic and onions and they seem unbothered. I don't think they were fazed by that cold whatsoever. All right, I got this bed really cleaned out. There was a lot dead in here. The kale had some interesting damage. A lot of like lower leaves died, but the inside there's still some sprouting. The corn salad doesn't care, and I just cleaned out a ton of stuff, trying to really not leave any of these leaves to die and decay in the garden beds because I have such a snail and slug problem. I debated it, but I just don't want this like decomposing in the garden bed and basically just leaving like a huge snack for slugs and snails. So I decided to pull it all out and I'm just gonna compost this, but yeah, I don't want that. So the garden's looking a little bit kind of crazy right now, but I'm gonna come in now and mulch over all of these containers that had things growing in them just so that the soil is basically protected and it's not just totally, I don't know, drying out and losing nutrients. And I'm gonna plant spring flowers and things into that soil, but I just wanna kind of cover it a little bit, and I have some extra mulch so I can do that. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I do still need to deadhead the violas. Most of the violas are fine. They seem to have lived pretty well, but they just need some deadheading because all the flowers died. I don't know if I'm going to get to that today though, because it's starting to get a little tired. It's starting to get dark. I know the girls are going to be needing me, so I may have to hop inside, but I'm at least going to try to just get these unused containers mulched. I also think it looks kind of prettier and tidier since I'm going to leave them in place to just have them covered with mulch. So that is what we're going to do now. I have a little bit of mulch here, about half a bag. Ooh, it's kind of wet, but we're going to try to mulch these containers. All right, that is all the containers mulched. Everything is a little bit of a mess out here, so I'm gonna do a little bit of tidying. It's all got wet too, so I don't think I'm gonna do a whole lot of sweeping. But I'm gonna have to come up and sweep up some of that mulch and everything. But at least we got the cleanup sort of started. It's, as I said, yeah, a little disappointing, but just one of those things. And I am getting started. I want to start seeding some violas and things for the spring garden. So that is what I'm going to focus on. The things that we are going to be planting soon, my plans for next summer. It's kind of a relief in some way that some of these things died, because I won't feel bad pulling them out in the spring. Usually I have to, you know, kind of feel bad like pulling that mustard out when I want to plant tomatoes or whatever. Now I don't have to. There's just the collards in there, so you know, a little silver lining. Anyways, thank you so much for just spending a little time in the garden with me. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.